Hi, and welcome to FrazlCast. Climb aboard the Gnome Train.
Woo! Chugga, 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 woo!
Please make sure to keep your limbs and experimental instruments inside the train at all times. And now, on with the show.
A podcast by a Blizzard fan gnome about World of Warcraft and geeky stuff. I promise you, they do talk about the World of Warcraft. They just go off the rails sometimes.
So I'm Frazley, and I am joined by my friends Ali of Dungeon Fables and all things Azeroth.
Hello.
And Xortz the Goblin.
Hi, hi, hi.
I'm so glad to have both of you here. It's just like I'm so giddy and just jumping up and down because of
Yeah, I know you're like a
literally,
dude. You are literally just like bouncing in yours. You've been doing this like ever since I came into the call.
It is weird. Since I moved to the standing desk, I don't even realize how much I bounce around. People are like, "You're bouncing around."
You're just burning calories. It's fine.
Exactly.
You're doing your part, even though you're at a workstation to stay fit and keep blood clots from forming. Unlike my lazy butt who sits in this chair for hours on end. And the only time I leave it is to get a beverage or go smoke.
So I've been trying to eat healthier. Well, before this call, my parents brought home a raspberry cheesecake, so I did have that too. So that's my
Delicious.
What is it with people and cheese? Like, everybody I know has been having cheesecake lately.
It's so good. It's so good.
Am I the only non-cheesecake liking person on the face of the earth left?
You might be. I haven't had it in a while, but I do like cheesecake.
It's good.
Like, I'm not a fan.
And you know somebody else, I wonder if Epicinsanity is a fan. Sadly, he's not here tonight to ask that. But Epicinsanity, what time is it?
It's time to go around the table.
Great idea. So what have you been up to recently? We'll start alphabetically. We'll start with Ali.
I'm going to say this first thing only because Frazley was the one to put this in my section.
Yeah.
Because he's really excited. I streamed once.
Yes.
Once.
We got you now.
And he's very excited. I literally, it was just a test stream. I didn't even have my camera on. I did some world quests. It was mostly to see how my computer would handle it, if it's smooth, if I need to mess around with settings, which I did, but it wasn't like the bitrate settings or anything like that. So just out of the box, Streamlabs actually worked pretty well with those settings, which was lovely.
How did I miss this? Where was I?
I missed it too.
It was pretty late at night. You may have actually been at work.
I might have been at work.
And Frazley, you were sleeping. It was maybe,
Okay, well.
I think 10
now we
o'clock
know.
my time.
Ali is joining the streaming ranks.
Yes.
Kind of.
We're gonna get her to affiliate. We're gonna help her make some money.
Absolutely.
Here's the thing, though, is that my husband and I are actually just started the process of getting ready to sell this place and buy a house, which is really great. But that means for the next couple months, I don't know what to expect. Because that's, cleaning and packing and selling this place and looking at other places and buying and thinking internet in the new place. But we might be able to make it work so that when I do get in the new place, I can stream and podcast and whatever without kicking my husband out of the room.
Nice.
Since right now our computers are in the same room. So that'd be nice for him. It'd be nice for me. Plus,
Kick him
he wants
out
to start
anyway.
streaming.
Yeah.
He's so supportive. He's like, cool, fine, whatever. He doesn't mind.
All right.
Good. He's in chat right now. He's super supportive.
And don't say anything back to this because I don't want the ones behind the walls to say. But also by moving, you won't have those people next door.
These neighbors, man, I'm so over them. I can't. The thin wall. Don't get me started.
Yeah. Don't say anything. Don't let them know that you know.
Anger. But outside of streaming that one time, I've been doing alpha, which is another reason I want to stream, because I want to stream alpha. Yeah. Because it's pretty great. I got together with some other podcasters and ran Torghast and 2 of the dungeons, Necrotic Wake and Mists of Tierna Scythe, I think is how you say it. It is absolutely gorgeous. The sky, all of the art in general. People almost died because I was too busy looking around and not healing people. But it's gorgeous. I love it. I love everything I'm seeing out of Shadowlands so far. It's just alpha, but I'm really enjoying it.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Are you taking notes ahead of time for when you get to these episodes in about 3 or 4 years?
A couple. I mean, some of them, for example, with Mists of Tierna Scythe, again, if I'm saying that right, we ran into like this huge bug in this like Lost Woods section, and so I'm gonna remember that. I'm gonna remember the first time I ran it and people almost died because I was looking at the gorgeous skies, since I always tell people to look up.
Yeah.
So I mean, I have all those notes already. So I'm just really doing show work way ahead of time.
Exactly. And it'll be interesting to see by the time you get there how your opinions changed of it, or like, oh, I think that this dungeon was so great, and I got there like 55 times. I'm done with it. I'm done.
I think it's too pretty to get tired of it. It's that good. Yeah. But outside of that and too much adulting, I took advantage a little bit for the rep bonus and did some Legion Paragon boxes, trying to get some of those mounts.
Nice.
I think I got one of them. And then I got one when I was killing a rare. So not too many, but that's okay. And another thing I've done recently that I haven't really had a chance to get into too much is I started a new challenge tune.
Ooh.
I figured since Xortz is here, I'll talk about it. So it's something I've been like thinking about for a while, like way back when I started my first one. It's going to be a Bloodthirsty.
Yes.
And my goal is to, as much as possible, only kill Murlocs.
What?
Yes.
Why? Murlocs are one of the greatest things in the game.
They are the greatest things in the game because not only are they just great and they're funny and stuff, but have you ever just sat there for a while and just killed Murloc after Murloc after Murloc? It is very, very relaxing.
I'm actually kind of horrified by this.
It's great. I noticed it back like when I was leveling my little rogue like way back in the day in Burning Crusade. I had like a really stressful day at college or something, and so I was out in, I want to say Westfall, killing Murlocs for quests out there. And I just realized this is really, really, really relaxing. Like just cutting them all up, and it was great. So that's kind of the aim I'm going for here with this Bloodthirsty, just for the hell of it, because why not? To the point that I named it Murloc Slayer.
I know a whole community of people that'll want your head on a stick for this.
I know. But here's the thing. I honestly truly like Murlocs. I think they're funny. I think they're cute. I think they're cool.
Paradin and his chat are going to be mortified with you.
I can like them, but also have a relaxing time killing them too. You know, it's okay.
To the people at Team Murloc that may be listening in, I apologize. I do not know this lady.
I love Murlocs. Trust me, I do actually love Murlocs. I'm actually wearing a Murloc shirt right now. I don't know if you can see it.
You are such a hypocrite. The people have spoken. Shame.
Okay.
Shame.
To be fair,
shame.
When I'm playing with the DPS crew, I love them, but I kill Cuffy a lot. I mean, we only hurt the ones we love.
There you go.
You all fucking disgust me.
Hey, at least I'm rolling up a Bloodthirsty. You got like that, right?
Well, Xortz. So when you're not drinking coffee and you're not trying to think up ways to stop Ali from killing Murlocs, what have you been up to?
Working, doing the thing, making sure ice cream gets to the stores because it's an important thing apparently.
Thank you.
Oh, it is.
It's feeding my soul.
Yeah, it's like mental happiness food.
Yes. You gotta have your comfort foods during times like these, and
yes,
that's what I do. I sling cases of ice cream onto pallets and wrap the pallets and load the pallets onto trucks. Literally, I do all three of those things in the course of a night.
Wow.
You're doing good work.
Yes.
Between that and the needed sleep and food, I've been sneaking in some streams here and there, finally getting a schedule together, which is posted on my Twitch page because it changes from week to week. It just seemed easier to keep updating that instead of trying to write out a whole month's worth of crap.
Yeah.
Yeah, and then have something happen to your life and be like, oh, no, that's not going to work.
Yeah, and in between everything else, naps. Gotta have the naps.
Naps are good.
Yeah.
Naps are fucking amazing. How I ever thought they were a punishment when I was a little kid is beyond me.
I know. I was watching YouTube and I fell asleep. I was like, oh, I needed that 5 minutes, 5-10 minutes.
Right? Like, my couch has become my best friend because it's just like, I'm just going to lie down here for a few minutes. And next thing I know, like 2 hours have gone by and it's great.
Very nice. And yeah, the streaming schedule is definitely an important thing.
Well, I haven't actually kept to a schedule in about 2 years now. I've just kind of been winging it because I had some schedule changes at work. Then I switched shifts. Then I got laid off. Then I got brought back. So yeah, it's like, I don't know, man. What is life? Everything's just weird.
Everything's crazy right now.
It is.
What do you mean right now? Everything's always crazy.
Good point. It's extra crazy right now.
One positive, very positive note. Got to see my dad for the first time since the end of March.
Nice.
So we met up and had breakfast earlier this week, so that was nice.
Breakfast is the best.
It is.
Oh yeah, we got a great breakfast place here in town that opened up their dining room for the first time and since they got shut down due to things, and they're only operating at 50% capacity. They've got every other table completely blocked off so nobody can try and sneak in there. And we decided, okay, you know what? We haven't seen each other face to face in over a month. Let's go get some cheese omelets.
You almost said a joke that I think you're going to kill me for saying it in a second. On Twitter, they said once Disney World or Disneyland opens, they need Anna and Elsa saying, "For the first time in forever."
If I had seen Frozen, I would probably understand that joke, but...
Okay, well then I'm just going to let it go right there.
Oh, God.
I'm shaking my head at you.
I walked right into it.
Audio listeners can't see this, but I am literally just shaking my head at you.
And Allie, if you were playing Portal 2, because Spaz and I played the Portal 2. Oh, it's so good. I love the stuff in it. I've never completed the second, like the expansion stuff of the co-op, just the main story.
Nice.
So Spaz and I went in and had a lot of fun with it. There were some times that like we were trying to figure out where to go, or I accidentally, in the professional klutz that I am, and I accidentally removed his portal after we worked so hard to get here. And like, you got to do it again. And you can just tell he's just shaking his head like, Frazley, I cannot believe you did that. And there are some really tough ones. If you've not done the expanded DLC of the co-op, it was like insane. There was something that really had our heads scratching, and I really enjoyed it.
Those games, A, look cute as hell. 2, the people that enjoy them look like they have a great time. Those games would drive me up the freaking wall. I cannot play games like that.
It's not for everyone. That's for sure.
You might like the humor, though. I think
you guys think you've heard me rage on stream before. I would lose my crap to a level you have never seen the minute I came across a puzzle that just completely boggled me.
Oh, that's why like some of those games need like walkthroughs, and WoW, I've been using a walkthrough recently to kind of help me get through some of the different achievements. I now have 4 new Lore Master achievements, 2 expansions, Outlands and Wrath are now done.
Wow. And
I'm working on Cataclysm, and then Mist will fall after that. I'm not going to miss that expansion, so don't worry. I just got Alex eye roll again on that one.
Lore Master.
Yes. So it's
I was
my
going
goal.
to give you a compliment about you putting in work and good job, buddy, and stuff, but yeah, I'm just going to roll my eyes instead. No, seriously though, that's awesome. Good work.
I meant to get it last year and do just different things, never got it, but this year now, this is going to be the year I'm going to have Lore Master fully. I just need to finish Kata and Miss, and I'll be done.
All right.
I'm looking forward to that because then it's going to be nice just to be done. And last one I think you'll like, my first Worgen is now up to 112.
Nice.
Meanwhile, my Goblin is still sitting at 111 and has been for ever at this point.
It's the perfect time to do it. You should go out there because go out and into the unknown and just and use that XP buff.
I would love to, but I'm using the XP buff for my Bloodthirsty challengers.
Okay, fair point.
I've got 4 challengers I'm working on right now.
Wow.
And with the XP buff on some of the lower level ones, I can get 2 to 3 levels a week.
Yeah.
Yeah, if I do the right runs in the right zones at the right times and find the right rares,
The
money.
rares, I'm finding rares aren't always the best thing. This was last week, but I know you'll appreciate this. My 5th Iron Tune has not died since last year. It's up to 39 now, but those rares sometimes you're going along and that rare's like, hey, I'm in the woods. You're already attacking 5 mobs. I'll come over and attack you. It's like,
Surprise.
yeah, it's like, come on.
Well, are you doing an iron?
Yes.
Okay, that's why the rare seems a lot harder. It's because you don't have any of the gear with stats. So they're going to hit harder, they're going to be harder to kill. I say at a certain point you have to completely cut rares out of the equation, and if one comes on you, if you have an out, like if you're a hunter, feign death, or disengage, run! There
have been a few that I've taken on, but I'm trying to be careful not to like take on things I shouldn't. I like what Lita said one time. She said, be picky choosy with quests, and
yes,
I'm being picky choosy.
Yes. Don't try to be a lore master on an iron tune.
No.
That's a suicide note right there.
Yes. Oh, absolutely. But there's another way I want to be a lore master. Maybe not a lore master, but a info master maybe. So I felt today like going a little different. So Amanda and Monica on Geek Hearing were asking these questions from Jan Keck's Ask the Questions card deck, and the answers were really good. And I count both of you as two very cherished friends, which is why I was jumping up and down when the stream started. That and the cheesecake sugar, but it's all the friendship too.
That's a real reason. It's the cheesecake.
Yes.
Cheesecake!
So I figured we'd go around and ask some questions that I pulled from the deck. So these are for all of us.
So our first one, if you had to give a TED Talk about something you're not known for, what would it be about?
I need some clarification on this question. Now, when you say you're not known for, is it something that, that should I be giving a TED Talk on something that I don't have a working knowledge of, or I should be giving a TED Talk on something that maybe everybody else doesn't know I know about?
That's a good point, because I could do a TED Talk on how to be a mythic level raider in WoW, or how to have 5 million subscribers on YouTube. I mean, it would work, but I don't have that. Yeah.
Well, I think the concept is it's got to be, if it's a TED Talk, it's supposed to be something you know a lot about and you are qualified to talk about.
All right. Okay.
So
cool. If I had to give a TED Talk about something that I'm not known for being a subject matter expert on, I would have to say it would be statistical process control, which is a tool that used to be very prevalent in American manufacturing, but has fallen by the wayside since the post-World War II years. However, Japan and Germany fully embraced the process, which is why their products are often seen as superior. What this is during the process of manufacturing, certain measurements of parts, components, or materials are measured on an hourly basis. Every 2 hours, a supervisor would then come around and take another measurement. Every 4 hours, a member of the quality control team would come around and take a measurement, and any variances would then have to be corrected.
I could see that having a lot of checks and balances.
Yes. It's generally used to ensure a consistent and excellent product. However, due to quantity over quality in American manufacturing over the years, the process is very rarely used in the way it was intended.
I could see that, and especially because we want it now, and any stock.
When I worked in vinyl extrusion, we had to take hourly samples of the profiles that we made for storm doors and windows, measuring certain channels and widths and other things of the piece that we were producing. If we found a variance, we had to let an operator know, or if, like me, we were also operator qualified as well as packer inspector qualified, we could make those adjustments to either the heat of the die or, using various other tools to adjust where the variance was.
Fascinating.
Yes.
I understood maybe 50% of that.
It's actually, if you ever find yourself in a job that actually properly institutes it, it's not that hard to understand and really easy to do.
And I have to experience those times for me to fully understand the concept, because if I hear about it.
Yep.
How about you, Ali?
Well, I had to think about this one for a minute. Technically I'm kind of known for this, but not really, because not everyone knows this. But in my, professional life, I'm an early child educator. My exact title is Infant Nursery Supervisor, which means basically I, of course, teach babies, but I teach their parents and do a lot of guiding with them. And I also teach other teachers. I could probably do a whole talk very confidently about the importance of those infant months because of the insane amount of neurological connections being formed in their brains, how important it is to do every little thing from talking to them, telling them what they're doing, making eye contact, that kind of jazz. Even reading to them. A lot of parents don't read to their kids because they think they don't understand what it is. But the importance of that is insane. And what even babies are capable of, if you work with them, is incredible. And a lot of people underestimate them. So I could probably just go off on a whole thing with that.
I've always been amazed at the childhood stuff. I've noticed it in pets, like cats and dogs. When we've raised them, if we get them at the right age and can instill stuff in them, it's implanted there. Like chocolate, because of things that we did as a kid and encouraged him as a kid, and he keeps those.
You can basically form your own army of minions. And that's what I've done over the years. It's lovely.
Nice.
All they're waiting for is Ali to get on the holo terminal and tell them, execute Order 66.
The younglings! The younglings!
Yinglings, hey, I got a whole case of Yingling in the fridge.
I bet you do. You could do a TED Talk on that one too, I bet.
How about you, Fraz?
I'd have to say one that, like, I wouldn't consider myself an expert, but I could do a TED Talk on it, would be starting up a point-of-sale system at a retail store. So we've been running a store for about 6-7 years now, and I had to do a lot of the work, like get the point-of-sale set up and get the inventory in. It wasn't perfect, but we've learned a lot through the years, and I could give people ideas of things that they might want to look for, things they want to think ahead on, like what your platform are you going to be putting it on? Are you going to be locking yourself to one computer? Is it expandable? What are some of the things you're going to run into later on when that one service decides, hey, we are going to stop supporting your one service, but hey, let's move you all over to our cloud-based service, which has maybe like 45% of the features of the other service, but we won't be supporting it. Yeah, so I could do a TED Talk on all of this. And those skills have actually helped me a lot with like the project management that I've done for the different podcasts and streams.
Yeah, I'll bet.
How, over the years, have your priorities changed, dear friends?
Like, are we talking in game or just in general?
Yes.
Yeah, I'd say in general, because like they can apply to WoW, but I'm thinking like the bigger picture.
Well, obviously, since I started podcasting and jazz, that's changed a lot. I game less and work on that more and do more things like networking and collaboration and things like that. Outside of, creative things, over the years, I went and got married and got a couple dogs and stuff. And so instead of my priorities being trying to get my head on straight and help my friends out as much as possible, now it's, being a part of my little family and taking care of my husband and dogs, and also still trying to help my friends as much as possible. But it's, my family first. And that's a new thing. That's a thing I never thought I'd have. So that definitely changed a lot of things. Kind of
the self-care, like I think of like the airplane with the oxygen mask, like taking care of yourself to be able to help other people.
Yeah, self-care. That's another thing. Like over the years, through lots of bad times and depression and things that happened, self-care became a priority in order just to, stay alive, honestly. And that's still something I struggle with, but I've gotten better over the years because it's kind of important.
Yeah. I've reminded of like people that like depleted themselves with other people, but they never filled themselves up.
Right.
How about you, Xortz?
Oh, God. Quite a bit. Because I used to try to follow the all-American roadmap to success, right?
Yeah.
Which is, find a career, find someone to be with, start a family, get the nice car and the 2.5 kids and the white picket fence and all that. And then about 10 years ago, after my last serious relationship pretty much fell apart, I ended up moving from New York to Indiana because I had nowhere to go and had to stay with my dad for a while. I just decided to adopt the Tyler Durden theory of living, which is who needs the big money and fabulous prizes? In terms of priorities, what do I need to do to support my family in terms of like my father, my sisters, my very close friends, stuff like that? How can I be there for them? And how can I be there for myself? Everything else is inconsequential.
There's definitely a thing that like that one song in The Greatest Showman, like it'll never be enough. There's a point where to search for that and not be happy means that you'll never be happy.
Yeah, and it's just like, I've just cut out so much of the stupid bull crap that seems to define so many other people. Like, I have this one aunt who's always like on my case whenever I see her about how I've never been married. None of us have had, neither me or my sisters have had any kids. And your father deserves to be a grandfather, da da da. I'm like,
yep.
Look, one of my sisters willingly admits she's too selfish to be a mother. And she's smart enough to realize that. The other one has a medical condition that she could pass on to any children, so she doesn't want to have children.
Yeah.
And me, it's just like, you know what? I'm not obligated to have kids. Would I like to be a dad someday? Yeah, sure. I would love to have a little minion to mold and sculpt and instill with my hatred of humankind. But is it a be-all, end-all? No, it's not. And it got to the point where I literally, at the last family gathering where she started in on me in front of some of the other relatives, I pretty much told her she could go fuck herself. Because I said, hey, you had a kid and he's perfectly miserable because you tried to run his life.
Yeah.
And he's a grown-ass man. Well, that went over about like a bowling ball.
Oh, I bet.
Oh,
How dare
God.
you say it? Why, I've never.
That's why I don't go to family functions anymore, kids. I don't play well with others.
Yeah.
We avoid them too, I get it.
Yeah. Family functions can be fun, but not fun.
Me and my dad sat down and talked about it after it happened. And he was like, look, he's like, if you have kids, great. If you don't, he's like, I would have liked to have grandkids. He's like, but I'm never going to tell you you have to. I'm never going to guilt trip you for it. He's like, live your life, be you. And I was like, all right, cool. We're on the same page? Bet.
I'm kind of like similar to both of you in that my priorities have definitely changed. Like I would always try to do what I think other people wanted me to do, or things that like I need to be part of this, but I'm not happy. And if and realize that if I'm not enjoying something, I got to recheck it. Like I did ballroom dancing for quite a long time, but then the last couple of years I've just become disillusioned with it, the cost and just the time required. And I've been wanting to do more of this stuff. So during quarantine, I was like, you know what? I'm done. I'm done with it. I had a good run. But then also on the aspect of like, I always get the question, when are you going to find that other person out there? I'm like, do I need another person out there? I think I would probably drive someone batty up the wall. If you know me, I can.
As long as they bounce with you, you're good.
Look, Fraz, you just got to find the right kind of crazy, man.
Okay. Yeah. Oh, but do you really want 2 Frazleys in the world? That would be.
Look, if it's meant to be, it's meant to be. I'm not a higher power. I have no control over these things. I'm just a sock puppet.
Okay. Oh, that's right. And sock puppets usually lose the other pair inside of the dryer. So, that's
we
where you gotta go.
We don't talk about that.
Okay. Well, but I do wonder though. Can you talk about the next thing we're gonna ask? When is the last time that you failed?
Today.
I was going to say every day that ends with Y.
Yeah. Today was going to be laundry day. I was going to get a jump on it. I was going to get to the laundromat at 7 a.m. when it opened up, and I was going to get my laundry done. Slept till 11.
I've been there.
Like, it depends. Like, if we're talking, like, serious life stuff, I could talk about a college class I got D on way back in the day and how it screwed a lot of things up. I could talk about how I was playing D&D with Stone, who's in chat. Some things happened. I failed some rolls pretty bad.
Oh, I got to go back and watch the VOD.
And to the point that as a rogue, I was tripping down hills I shouldn't have been tripping down and falling. And some things happened. I won't say what happened. And well, Stone, the bad rolls were my fault. That's my dice's fault. Some things happened with Stone that led to me stabbing certain people and then waking up unconscious after being unconscious in other people's arms. Some things happened. So there was some failure then too, but obviously that's not like a big life failure. That's just a...
Angbadang, the Lord of all dice rolls, did not smile upon you that day.
No, I pulled out. So I have this nice set of dice I really like. Like I actively bought it on Amazon. I chose it. It's beautiful. And they were failing me really bad for
Never
that
go
night.
for the pretty dice. The pretty dice will always let you down.
But they've been decent. But it was really bad. You'll see when you watch it. So I actually went and pulled out the first set of dice that my husband bought me like way early in our relationship and used that for the rest of the night.
How about you, Xortz? How has life's RNG or been on failure?
I already told you, man. Didn't do laundry today.
Okay, yes.
No, God, last serious failure I had? Probably one of the defining reasons why I left the military was when I didn't get promoted for the umpteenth time because I, for whatever reason, was never deployed during the war and didn't have all the shiny chest candy that added points to your promotion value. And people that were in half the time I was were outranking me, and I got fed up. So I failed. I failed to live up to my commitment, and I left. And it was the best decision I ever made. So was that really a failure?
Not real. I mean...
You know, let's just stick with laundry. Yeah, laundry.
Laundry's good.
Yeah, laundry.
Because, I mean, I could talk about the time that I was supposed to pick up my niece from the bus stop.
Uh-oh.
And I forgot to. Thankfully, my niece had a key in the backpack that my mom had put in there that morning. But that was years ago. I mean, I failed my college test and I have not quite gone back to that yet. I'm
okay.
But I've also been putting stuff into like the streams, the podcasts, not quite college, but I mean, like it's on different ways. And I'd say like the last time I got angry, I'm trying to remember the exact time, but when I misread somebody, you have those situations, everything looks fine, but then you start getting angry in your head and you're like, no, I need to step back. What's really going on there? I was like getting hot-headed. Thankfully, I had not talked with the person on it. I talked with somebody else. Thank you, Ali. And I had
Fetch back, Jack.
But I appreciated you be like, let's look at this a different way. So I failed in that I was misreading, but I appreciated you helping me there. So
of course. What is one thing people always assume about you, and is it true?
I can go first on this one because I get this all the time. Everyone always tells me that I'm always positive every single moment. Not at all true. Like I'm not putting on a fakeness when I'm being positive. I'm really pulling that and that's what I'm aiming for. But there are times I have either depression or anger. I mean, there's times I really go through a lot of self-doubt, and I have to change my mind against. That's one of the reasons I did Be Great Today, and I want to try to change my perspective, show things that I'm going through, and really trying to improve it. But yeah, I'm not always positive, and I appreciate the friends out there because you all help keep me positive. You keep me laughing, and you keep me in a good mindset.
I actually think it's the opposite with me, where people think, oh, he's a nice guy, he's got a great outlook on things. I am the most cynical person. I don't look for silver linings. I'm looking at the storm behind that. Like I'm one of those people whose philosophy in life is the brightest smile hides the sharpest knife. And luckily, I've been able to find a group of people that I don't have to worry about that. Like you guys, like Stone and Lita and Nisi and my buddies Voon. But you get me in like an actual face-to-face social situation, I will stand with my back to the wall. I will be watching people. I just and if people come up and are like, in the back of my mind, I'm like, what do you want? What is your angle? What are you trying to get out of me? General population, just no. I
don't know if I'd call you a cynic, but a realist, because I can be optimistic sometimes to a fault in my outlook on life. And we need people like you who can kind of think through angles in life.
Yeah, that's true.
Like, for example, Stone's been trying to get me to go to BlizzCon for years.
Yes! That's just not this year.
I can tell you right now, around him, I'd be fine. Around Ali and Fraz, I'd be fine. But when you get me in the freaking mix in the middle of the freaking Hilton, and I'm just, you'll see a different Xortz.
We don't have to go to the Hilton.
No, we don't have to. Else. I don't like Hilton.
I'm just saying that's the kind of environment that you would see me, I am out in public almost on a daily basis. Like even at work, like when my boss says, "Hey, I need to talk to you," I'm immediately thinking, "What are you gonna pull on me? What's the deal here?" Even if it's something good, I'm sitting there thinking, how are you going to screw me without a reach around this time?
I think I'm in the same boat when people ask things like that. Not in how are they going to screw me over, but more, what did I do wrong? And then I'm always surprised whenever it's actually good news.
Oof, I don't even know. I think the first thing that comes to mind is people sometimes assume that I'm outgoing because I'm good at turning it on for podcasts or for internet interactions or whatever. But that's so not the case. Just because I'm good at turning it on doesn't mean I'm outgoing. I am definitely an introvert. I'm just one of those introverts that can turn it on when I need to for work or whatnot. But it drains the hell out of me. Like after work, there are some days I'm just done. Sometimes after going to my friend's party or whatever, I'm done. So I don't do those things too often. When it comes to podcasting, if I'm on a show for the first time, I'm a nervous wreck right before it. The first time I was on FrazlCast, I almost had a panic attack right before the show and canceled on him. And BlizzCon, I was freaking out for a few days leading up to BlizzCon, and even when I first got there, and it took me a while to kind of calm down and get into the groove. But every new meeting with someone, even if it was someone that I considered a friend and I truly care about, I put on a smile and everything, but inside, I was this ball of freaked out everything.
Oh God! What if I fart?
Oh my God! They
don't like me. Yeah.
They know who I am. They didn't run away in fear. So after BlizzCon, between how very little I slept and the amount of social interactions going on, I was just dead. I have not been that tired, I think, in my entire life. For like the next day after, I was useless. It was pretty intense. I'm not as outgoing as people like to think. And even though I act like it, it just means afterwards I'm going to be a zombie.
All right.
I can relate to that because every new guest I have on FrazlCast that I haven't talked with a lot, I feel nervous. BlizzCon, I was nervous.
I actually remember before the first time you had Scruffy on, I was going to be on that show too since I had suggested it. You're like, are you sure she's, you were like asking, like, is she going to be okay with it? I'm like, dude, she's fine. Trust me.
I never want to let a guest down. And it's funny that you mentioned that. Next week, I've got Scruffy and Pete on. We're talking about streaming. So it's nice. Funny that now, like, I'm bringing Scruffy back all the time.
My work here's done.
Yes. But actually, no. No,
my work here is not done. There's more questions. Now, this is a tough one. At least I think it's a tough one. What do you think about most when you're by yourself?
That's a loaded question.
That is a very loaded question. And I can tell you right now, when I first read that a little while ago, the answer that popped in my mind is not an answer I can give on this show, even though it's mature adults only right now. No, we're not going there. Believe it or not, Xortz does have somewhat of a filter.
Oh, wow. Okay.
It's thin, but it's there.
And maybe this one we can skip on by unless you want, because I think we kind of answered it in the one leading up.
Well, I don't know. I mean, because like
I can brush over some stuff.
I live by myself, so I spend a lot of time by myself, and there's a lot of things that run through this twisted maze of a brain. Having been pretty active in the roleplay community and WoW for a few years, I used to do a lot of creative writing. Haven't done some in a long time, but I always have ideas, and I'm always trying to like work out how I could write this story about this particular time period in this particular kind of world and how things would work out. And I even start outlining them sometimes, and they never go anywhere. And then I start thinking about this game I want to play on stream and how great it'll be, and then I never play it. And then I'll be thinking about other stuff, like, well, maybe I'll take up this hobby and maybe I'll start painting Warhammer miniatures again just for fun. And I don't do it. And, just maybe I'll adopt a cat. I should adopt a cat. Yeah. But that's besides the point. Hey, maybe I should go out, meet a nice girl, and have that grandkid all my relatives are telling me I should have had years ago.
When are you going to do that, Xortz theory? Come on.
Wow.
Like, I have a very overactive imagination to a detriment at times. My brain is always firing on all cylinders. The only time I am ever truly at peace is when I'm sleeping. And then I have some really weird freaking dreams, so my brain hasn't completely shut off yet.
Yeah, I feel like Xortz, it's weird. You and I are in a lot of ways similar, because I have ideas. But I always also, there's a thing I learned in dance, which is good, but also bad. Always assume fault. I'm always assuming the fault in me. Like, why am I not good enough for this? Or like if I feel passed over by something, like what did I do wrong? I'm always thinking that like I made somebody wrong or mad in some way. And those go through my head quite a lot in different things. And it's that doubt that I struggle with a lot. It's actually why I'm amazed that I've made it this far with this, because I've had other projects that have not gone anywhere. I thought I was going to be big on YouTube, be like, hey, it's Fred. Well, I wasn't going to be Fred, but I was going to be like Fred on YouTube. That didn't go anywhere.
I think for me, there's, what Xortz alluded to earlier. We won't go there, though. And then I tend to be that person who takes the weight of the world on their shoulders, even when they don't need to. And so when I'm alone by myself and my brain's just going, it's usually either a list of things I need to do, or it's, worried about some friends, or, trying to figure ways I can help my husband or do something better for us and our family, or it's, some friend that I haven't talked to in forever ago, and I've let them down, even though conversations go both ways and they don't talk to me either. It's just a random list of crap and other people's weight that I just always that's usually what goes through my head. If I'm not like actively trying to relax and take care of myself, it's usually going in that direction.
You have an amazing heart, and that's one thing that I've always admired about you, is you can see relationships in such a unique perspective.
Thank you.
But Ali, if you could change one thing about yourself, what would it be? And this is for all of us.
One thing?
Just
one thing.
Just one.
One thing.
Yeah.
Just one thing.
One thing.
Less than 2, more than 0.
See, and I could like be lighthearted about this, or like super serious, or like super like depressing. Like I can go all over the place with this. I'm going to say, I wish I was not my own worst enemy, and I would like to change that.
So we just need to have Xortz raise up a whole bunch of little minions who are there like, Ali, you're awesome, and it helps support you.
I'd still probably be my own worst enemy, let's be honest.
Yeah. The amount of podcasters I've talked with on this show and content creators, that's one of the biggest ones. I've told you about like how I've heard Meryl Streep after every role is always wondering if she's going to get another role. And Meryl Streep's one of the best actresses around. Xortz, how about you?
I think maybe, just maybe, I could be a little more open about being more me. Like, you see the sock puppet there. The sock puppet's been there for a couple years now.
It has.
Yeah.
And I can name the number of people in this chat and in this podcast that know what I look like in real life. And that is none of you.
That makes me sad.
Yeah. I think, especially in people that I've known for years, like Stone, like Fraz, like Ali, that does kind of need to change, I think. So I think that's something I need to work on moving forward.
I get it though. Like, to go on camera is still rough.
I'll never go on camera.
Beginning, but
I'll never go on camera.
Being in photos and taking selfies like people do, like that takes a lot for me. So I understand.
No.
And I mean, I don't know about Xortz, but like you guys don't have like the weird eye or the dead teeth. I mean, you don't have all the weird stuff that I have. I mean,
I got some weird teeth, but I get where you're going with. Yeah.
I think for mine, what I want to change. And I don't think I'm as different as my mind wants me to believe. When I'm alone, my mind does think about this, but it would be the stutter. Sometimes I either speak too fast, too slow, or my thought process just stops and I cannot figure out what the word to say. And there are times that I feel like it makes me look like an idiot. And I hate that. I'm editing and I'm like, Frazley, you couldn't have said this so eloquently, like what you hear on Dungeon Fables or on those other podcasts. And you're just like, how do I not sound like them?
You have to remember that those people, including that host over Dungeon Fables, does a crap ton of editing. So they edit out their mistakes. Remember that, Fraz.
That's a good point, because there are some podcasts I listen to either live or I listen to and they don't do any editing at all. And I can never do that. I used to, but not anymore. And you're right. That is a good point.
Back however many years ago it was when I was doing a podcast. I think it's been longer that I haven't done the podcast than I actually did the podcast at this point. I used to go back because I got this real bad habit of smacking my lips right before I talk. It got to the point where I wouldn't even have to listen to the audio. I would just have Audacity up and I would see this one little lip and I'd be like, lip smack, and I would just be cutting those out before anything else. See,
I have a couple marks like that too.
Ali knows.
Yeah.
And I would also have the thing of being like, so I would a lot. Even all the way to the end there, I was still doing it and like going back and listening to it because it's just how I talk. You know, it's not like I was like brain farting or anything. I use the word a lot just in general conversation. Public speaking, probably not my forte, but whatever.
And it's always weird that it feels we're podcasters and streamers and we should be better. But yeah, you're right. And the guests that I've edited on this show, every guest has their own quirks. And if I edited a guest enough, I know the quirks and I know when I'm editing it, like the ones who either repeat phrases whenever they have a good thought. I can just go on. But yeah, let's go on to the next question, Ali.
So the next one is, what is the thing you worry about most?
Ooh.
For me, and it's admittedly a little self-centered, but it's something I worry about more often than I really need to. As I said earlier, I am my own worst enemy. I have this fear in the back of my head that eats away at me from time to time, that all these people that I've formed friendships with and relationships with and people I care about, that they'll start thinking about me, all the things I think about myself, and I'll lose everyone. And again, it's totally logical, and that logical part of my brain is fully aware of that. But, still worry that's just fairly constantly there.
I think you summed up what I was about to say, because that is one of my worries, that like I'm either going to show people that there's something about me that they're not going to like, or I'm going to mess up in some way. And I'm just like, all this work that I've done to network is just going to fall away. And Xortz, how about you?
Cardies. Small hands. Smell like cheese. I'm kidding. Little line from Captain Jack Sparrow. The thing I worry about most...
I got you, buddy.
I know there should be something there, but I can't think of anything. Like, I honestly have just cut out so much of the bullshit in my life. I know there's a worry I probably do have. It's just not popping into my head right now.
That's good, though.
Yeah.
I guess right now the thing I'm worrying about most is that this recall back to work after being laid off for 2 months. I'm kind of like, okay, there's the carrot on the stick. When are they going to yank it away?
Yeah, that like...
Even though I've been
now.
told this is a permanent position, I'm back full time, I'm at my old pay rate, my seniority and all my stuff rolled over. I'm not considered a new hire. I'm back to where I used to be. I'm still just kind of like, again, the brightest smile hiding the sharpest knife.
Right.
I guess right now, that's it, even though it's already been like 3 months and nothing's happened yet. We'll go with carnies. Small hands, smell like cheese. Or was it cabbage? Cheese or cabbage? Whatever. Cabbage and cheese. They smell like cabbage and cheese.
I've never smelled a carny, and I don't think I will be for quite a long time.
What is a question you wish more of your friends would ask you? I think I got a good answer for this. Are you okay? Just in general. Not that there has to be anything wrong, not that there has to be like a sudden change in my mood or anything like that, but at least my friends in the non-internet world, people I grew up with, people, family, stuff like that, I'm always checking in on them, making sure they're good, making sure they're okay. If they're, do they need anything? Is there anything I can help with? No? Okay, good. I don't see it reciprocated all that much, though. Every now and then, even if there's nothing wrong, you just want to know somebody's thinking and asking, hey, you good? You okay? Little things, man, little things.
Yeah.
Can that be my answer, too? Can I steal your answer?
You can do whatever you want. You're a grown-ass woman, and this is America.
Because it's true, honestly. I am fortunate that I do have, my husband and a couple friends that will ask once in a while. But sometimes just taking 2 seconds to ask someone how they're doing, can mean so much. Yeah. And it doesn't happen too often. Like
in my Discord a couple weeks ago, in the middle of all this quarantine bullshit, I realized there's people that are in there, but I don't talk to regularly anymore. And I just said, okay, hey, you know what, guys? And even though this had nothing to do with it, it's like, this was the post. Hey, been drinking a bit. Been thinking about you guys. Buddy check. How's everybody doing?
Yeah,
I saw that. That was awesome. Yep.
I think I responded, but I appreciated you.
You did. It was just, okay, everybody good. Everybody safe. Everybody got toilet paper. Everybody washing their hands. And Stone, how did you get so handsome? That's a good question.
Yes.
Look, he's a ruggedly handsome dude.
Oh, he is. I saw him at BlizzCon, and I was like, oh,
with the beard,
Yeah,
it's a very well kept beard too.
It is.
I like that.
Meanwhile, my beard makes me look like a hobo because it's patchy and I haven't shaved in 3 months.
And I'm trying to grow a soul patch, and nobody can see it because of my hair.
I saw it.
Okay, good.
Yeah, it's there.
It's subtle, but it's there.
It'll grow in there. I'm not going to do the other mustache and stuff because that stuff just.
So yeah, just guys, even if even if people seem like they're doing fine, even if you think everything's good, just reach out and say, hey, you okay? Everything good? Okay. That might just make somebody's day.
Well, and that question is one I don't try to tell people what's going on in my life because I've been always taught that it's not about me, it's about the other person. But when someone asks me that, it does force me to write my thoughts out. And I've had people ask me that. I forget to ask people how they're doing sometimes because you just go along.
We all do.
Yeah.
We all do.
But it's helpful when someone does.
As Ferris Bueller said, life moves fast. If you don't stop and look around once in a while, you might miss something.
Yeah. And sometimes, even though life's moving fast, we might feel like we're missing something. In what way do you feel incomplete?
I need a dog.
Yeah, you do.
Yeah.
Unfortunately, I can't have a dog. My landlord doesn't allow them.
Oh, that sucks.
Well, it's also a really small apartment, and I work nights for 12 hours. That's a long time to leave
a
alone.
long time.
Yeah.
So it wouldn't be fair to the dog.
And there's no doggy daycares that are open at night, I don't think.
No, there's not. But I'd like to have a dog, because I love dogs. Nothing against cats. I like cats, too. Cats are more independent, so I'm probably going to end up getting a cat at some point. But I really want a dog.
Whatever you do with it, make a camera and have your chat use channel points to feed that. Because one, your cat will, your other cat will find out about that too, and your other cat will then try to sneak up with them.
I don't know about 2 cats. 1 cat might be enough.
That is true. Yeah, no, 2 cats because we have 2 cats banned for 2 cats.
Yeah. Okay.
I think for me, for the first time in a really long time, I feel fairly complete. I think the only area that's kind of a gray area is work. I'm still fairly passionate about being an early childhood educator. I also don't know if that's what I want to do the rest of my life. I've been doing it for 11 plus years now, and I don't know. If my school had closed because of all this coronavirus stuff, I don't know if I would have been upset. I think I would have been okay with it and ready for a change. But the thing is, I don't know if I were to change that, what I would want to do. And that's kind of that question mark of, do I want to do this for the rest of my life? And what else would I want to do? Like, that's kind of the area where I feel incomplete.
Yeah, I'm at the place where like I used to want that romantic partner, but now I'm like, hey, if it doesn't happen, it's all good. I had a friend who their sister passed away years ago. At the funeral, they talked about how that sister was happy just being an aunt to the niece and nephews. And I was like, that is actually really cool. And I was like, I'd be fine with that. These podcasts and streams and the community has helped me feel better with that. I feel completely like I don't know what the future's going to hold. Like I didn't expect to be here doing all this stuff now. Like the fact that I'm talking with both of you in chat on Thursday night is mind-boggling. And I'm like, I don't know what's going to happen in the future, but I don't feel missing other than what's going to come. And looking into the future sometimes is an interesting thing because we got just like Ferris Bueller, which Ali mentioned earlier. Where's that Xortz?
Xortz.
Wow, how the hell did you get us confused? We are nothing alike.
It's a short memory.
We sound a little different.
We sound different. She's good looking. I'm a sock puppet.
I was looking at a nickel that fell on the floor. I'm sorry, and I just got confused. Wait,
oh, God, he found a shiny.
Yes. Oh, I love the shinies. Shiny! Moana's highly underrated. Oh, it's great.
It is. I'll give you that. Yeah.
It feels like a Pixar movie, but done so well. And yeah, you sometimes have to sit down and appreciate the milestones. And we have an opportunity tonight to talk about a 2-year anniversary of Dungeon Fables. That is an amazing accomplishment. That is 2 years of putting in hard work to get here.
Yeah. That's a thing that is happening.
What does it feel like getting to that 2-year milestone? Because I managed to hit it right before I had to stop podcasting, but I got there. And I just remember thinking, wow, I didn't even think I was going to last 6 months, and here I am 2 years later. You know? What does it feel like? Do you feel good? Do you feel tired? Do you feel like the best is yet to come?
I feel good. I also feel tired because this show is a lot of work. But a little mind-boggling because when I started it, I never expected it to do this well. I expected maybe 10 listeners and me to stay in my own little niche corner of the content creator universe just by myself with my little 10 listeners. I thought those 10 listeners would be my guildies and my husband, and I have 2 guildies that listen. 3 if you count my husband. The rest of them don't give a shit. But I never expected it to be what it is and to enjoy it as much as I am and meet all the great people because of it. So it feels pretty damn great. A little mind-boggling still.
Well, it's a great show. The work you put in definitely shows in the content and the quality of it. So congratulations.
Thank you.
Well deserved.
Thank you.
Yeah, and I want to echo what Des Mephisto said at the end of last episode. You got to celebrate the fact that you got here. Realize that you've worked hard. I always like the show because it's fun going back to like, what is this dungeon and what am I doing here? I'm going through Oldham. I'm like, oh, Ali mentioned that. I was like, that's really cool. And it's bringing out new things. And I'm also a little sad that the pygmies aren't there. As you probably saw on the Twitter from Spoofire today.
Yeah, I thought you'd like that.
I'll be honest, listening to the podcast, I'm sitting there thinking, maybe I'll go run this dungeon, which is a thought I have not had since Cataclysm.
That means I'm doing a damn good job.
I have not I've soloed a few things just to get some transmog, but I haven't really paid. All right, I got to go get to this point, kill this guy, get this piece, get the hell out. And even though I don't really do it anymore, but I used to do weekly runs to try and get the Raven Lord mount out of Burning Crusade, and that bastard still won't fucking drop.
I still don't have that.
But I'll be listening to the podcast, so I'll be like, I never did finish Tolbarad. Maybe I should go run it. And it's like, then my brain's like, wait a minute. You're talking about going into a dungeon to do the... Wait, no. Stop.
And looking up, which I need to do more because something happened in one of the dungeons recently. And chat was like, you should have looked up. I was like, I should listen to Ali.
Silly Frazley.
Yep. I'm always...
So here's what you do. Run the dungeon while listening to the podcast.
Ooh.
Good.
That's a good idea.
I support this statement.
Yes.
The ambiance of it all.
I talk about that a lot.
One thing that I've been amazed at is the people that you've met. Like I'm reminded of Chris and his 2 daughters who are listening, and I'm like, that is so cool that he's getting them into WoW, but they've got a cool foundation to learn more and fall in love with it. Because the more I've been looking into lore, different things, the more I start appreciating this game and what it does, and be like, oh, I've had the opportunity to talk more about lore, and it's like, I never thought of it like that. It makes the game so much more vast. And I still remember being at BlizzCon last year in the What's Next panel, and you're just all giddy about different news. I'm like, that's so cool. I was just like soaking in all that giddiness. That has been one of my favorite moments.
Because there's so many great things coming out. I'm so excited.
I have no clue. I haven't read any like notes about anything WoW related since.
I get 8 new dungeons.
Job security. I remember that was your line.
Job security.
Yep.
So, what have you learned in 2 years?
How long do you want the show to go?
As long as you want.
A lot. I've learned how to trim down time here and there when it comes to editing. I'm still working on trimming down time because that's necessary. I think if I were to pick one thing is that as long as I'm having fun with it and showing my passion, the listeners tend to be more forgiving than I am. Again, going back to, I'm my own worst enemy, that kind of thing, my own worst critic. All of us are, not all of us, a lot of people when they're editing their own show tend to be their own worst critic.
Yes.
Also,
and yeah.
On that same note of as long as you're having fun, as someone who no longer podcasts, when it stops being fun and starts feeling like work, probably time to hang it up.
And admittedly, there's been a couple weeks here and there that has happened. And it's not that I don't enjoy the show. It's just life outside of working on the show is really busy and I feel really strained. Or maybe it's a dungeon that I'm not super interested in.
I mean, every now and then it's bound to happen. But when you go in from one week to the next week to the next week and you're just like, oh, God, I got to do this. Yeah, it's time to start looking at why you're doing it and is it still fun?
Yeah, that's where I was with ballroom dancing, which is why I've given up. Is I was like 11, 12 years, which if I can do podcasting for 11, 12 years consistently, that's a great victory. And I want to be, but yeah.
And usually, when I have those weeks when I'm like, oh, this takes so much time. I don't know if I can keep doing this. It's very momentary. When I hear the show come together with all the music and voice lines, I feel better about it. When I have a listener reach out and say, hey, thanks for the show, like taking that brief moment to share that can be just what I need to kind of throw a little fuel on that fire a bit, So it's... Yeah. But there's been some episodes where I think it's the worst show. I feel like I just didn't do a good enough job or that my editing was absolute crap. Everyone likes it, and even the ones who are fellow editors don't notice the little things I noticed.
Look, if it can get by Epicinsanity, you did good.
Well, I don't know about Epicinsanity. I don't even think he listens, but a couple of things have gotten by Frazley.
Yes.
So I'll take that as a compliment.
I mean, remember my height in game, not in real life, and yes. I can sometimes be oblivious. I appreciate the compliment.
like if someone like Frazley who puts so much time and effort into his editing and his audio, if he doesn't notice the little things, I'm like, oh, this show was a little rough because of this, that, and the other, and he's not seeing it, then yes, my listeners are far more forgiving than I am, so I'll take that.
I'm impressed at your lore knowledge and that you're able to describe these dungeons in such detail. And I'm like, wow, I wish I was as eloquent as you on like curating lore. It's why I just get on.
Lore knowledge is a lot of research. There's a reason why I call myself a servant of the lore, not a master of the lore. I just know how to research.
And I don't, which is why
Buzzing
lore.
All right, now if you were to do this all over again from day one, what would you do differently, if anything?
Day one, I had a rough format down, but my first few episodes were crap. Like
everybody
exactly
that ever podcast say that. I actually went back because I saved all the Wormcast episodes to my Google Drive before I had to switch computers, and I went back and listened to like episode 2. And in like the first 5 minutes, I'm like, God, this is the worst. Who is this asshole? Is he drunk? Yes. Oh, wait. Yeah, I was.
But then again, it's natural for shows over the course of time to kind of adjust the format and blah, blah, blah. So I think it would probably be learning time management and tricks to trimming down editing and prep time early on. Because I'm still trying to learn those things. So it'd be great if I could learn that from the beginning.
The show format for this show has changed. And being like Xortz being like, you've got this much you want to record and you've got this much time. I was like, good point.
I remember that conversation. For those who don't know, Frazley, when he first started, tried to jam way too much into this show at one time.
Yes.
And I finally, after an episode, told him, look, cut this. We don't need this. You don't need that. And never have this asshole on the show again.
But I brought you back. I mean, no. Burn.
Touche, Frazley. Touche.
I'm so proud of you, Frazley.
I'm learning how to dish as long as I can take it.
Good man.
So what would you say is one thing people don't realize about making Dungeon Fables?
I would say the time thing and how much it's practically a part-time job with how much time I have to put into it. But I've mentioned that a couple times, so I'd probably say how excited I get when, say, music just happens to line up just at the right time.
Yeah.
Or a voice line is just really just so good and it fits in so smoothly. And when the finished product all comes together, I get a little giddy sometimes when things line up nicely.
I've heard those and it's like, wow, this sounds like an NPR product. I mean, it's like, this is great.
Well, thank you.
I always love like the opening. I'm ready. I'm not ready.
Well, because that's how I feel about like podcasting and being social and networking and everything. Like there's a part of me that's like gung ho and ready to go, and there's part of me that's like, I'm not.
Let's go take a nap. Let's go take a nap. Hey, how about a nap? Anybody up for a nap?
It's very fitting.
I want to thank you, Ali, for sharing. And Xortz, I want to thank you for sharing earlier, because this has been a fun episode where we're kind of being vulnerable and talking about ourselves and some of the things that we struggle with, because that's one thing that I think is important for people to realize. We're not the same because we all have different journeys we're going on, but our journeys, they align in so many of the same ways. And like someone may go this way, we can learn from each other. And I've appreciated that. But I also thought, you know what would be fun on an episode like this? Let's do an AMA. Let's have questions from the community.
You mad lad, do you know the Pandora's box you just opened?
Yes, I did. And I'm actually, there are some questions I'm surprised we didn't get, but maybe next time we do the AMA, because I want to bring this back again in the future. So we got these questions from Twitter, Discord, Facebook, and Instagram.
So our first one comes in from Suzanne, and they say, what do you do to keep motivated or to help burn out, both WoW and creative-wise? And Sai from Scrubs vs. the World also asked a similar question.
Take breaks, read a book, eat, and naps. Naps are key.
I definitely like the breaks. Like one thing I've started doing is I will start editing and I'm like, okay, I'm going to get to this point, because if I get to this point, it's going to be much easier as I go forward. And then once I get here, I can then take a small break, but you got to trim that break down. Otherwise, it can end up being an entire Friday just lost in Netflix.
True.
Sometimes you need days like that, though.
Yeah, I agree on that, because like sometimes I'm just so tired, and I come back to it another time like,
Yeah, breaks is key. Both, like, especially WoW, if it's a game you play a lot, like, it is okay to play other games. It is healthy to play other games. Take a break, take a breather. There's nothing wrong with that. I know that helps me sometimes. Creative-wise, breaks sometimes. Whether it's, a day where I just need a day where I don't worry about anything podcast related, or, say I'm kind of beyond burnt out and I have enough stored up for bloopers. I'll do a bloopers episode instead. Or, like Frazley said, like take small breaks, get to, say I've edited 10 minutes of my show. I'm going to watch some funny YouTube videos, which can be dangerous because then I spiral down the rabbit hole. But
yeah.
I'll just do
my rabbit hole. It's like, I'm going to do this. And then it's like, well, I got some time. I haven't heard this song in a while. Let me look it up on YouTube. And then I go down this spiral of like 80s hair metal.
That's like, I can't use music, because if I use music for that just small break, I love music and I will always I will not come back to it. So small breaks where I can define like, okay, during this break, I'm going to do this thing to recharge and only that thing. It works about 75% of the time. Or I'll go back
inspiring
to
movie scenes is not a good one to go down either, I'm just saying.
Oh, yeah. No, that wouldn't be.
And neither are like theme park rides that you'll never go there in your life. But what's the history of this at Alton Towers? You're like, oh, interesting. Or like, what is the one roller
this
coaster
roller
in
coaster
Ireland?
killed 17 people in the 1930s.
Tell me more.
Cap has asked, chocolate, vanilla, or strawberry? Well, the obvious answer is chocolate.
Yes.
In what form? Are we talking ice cream or just in general?
I'd say for
That's
me,
actually-
it's always chocolate. 'Cause it's like,
Can we not do the ice cream? I deal with ice cream at work. I don't want to deal with ice cream out here, too.
Okay, fair enough.
Yeah,
Well,
that sounds
I'll
good.
give you that. Yeah,
But
chocolate.
either way, it's chocolate. Chocolate's the only
Yeah,
answer.
chocolate first. I will say I'm an absolute sucker for chocolate covered strawberries.
oh, yeah.
Absolute sucker for that.
All right. Oh, he's saying milkshake, chocolate. The answer is always going to be chocolate, Cap.
Oh yeah, if it's for sure chocolate if it's a milkshake.
Yeah.
Also cookies and cream. I'm also a sucker for cookies and cream.
Oh, yes. And like, I'm always one to look at the menu like, these are ones sound good. Yeah, that chocolate. And I want to preface, this is not my cat chocolate. This is chocolate ice cream.
The flavor of chocolate.
Yes. People ask me that all the time.
You're doing what with your cat?
People ask me that all the time, believe it or not. And that's the question that I wish people would not ask me. So the next one comes from Madros. He says, what would you recommend for someone trying to freshen their online presence?
Drink heavily.
I don't know if I want Medros to drink heavily.
Yeah, no. I'm like, Madros after dark.
Look,
like,
you know,
hey.
you're asking the wrong person because I have not refreshed my online presence at all in years. I am still a sock puppet. I'm still a freaking goblin. I'm still me. I've changed absolutely nothing.
I'd say from me, as somebody who went from being Carl Banks to Jonathan Bloom, now back to Frazley, still Jonathan Bloom, I'm doing other stuff. Find what fits your personality. Believe it or not, gnomes, both because I've always wanted to be short, but also gnomes just in their quirky nature fit me. And I find like, I actually love the name Frazley better than anything else. And I kind of don't like it when people call me Jonathan anymore because it's just like, I feel better being Frazley. It was so cool at BlizzCon, having everybody call me Frazley. And it was just like, I loved it. What is it about you that you want to accentuate from that character? Because you have the opportunity to be anything. I like your paladin persona because I do see you as like the paladin riding into battle. You're riding in with justice. Even if you could even do a paladin playing Pokemon Go and then having a podcast. So that like you're podcasting, playing Pokemon Go, and you're riding into battle. Just like ways to make it you.
Wait, stop, knaves. We cannot do battle at this particular moment. We need to pause for a second. There's a Jigglypuff in this bush.
I can hear his voice saying that now. Oh my god.
I can do.
As someone who has been slowly over the last couple of years building that online presence, I had to just put myself out there. I had to find the communities that I enjoyed with the people and the personalities I enjoyed and just get involved, respond to tweets, get in their Discord, chat, and just put myself out there. And most of those communities, are great and they'll bring you in and talk to you and it's great. But I had to put in the effort to be out and about and social and jazz. But it's definitely, like Fraz was saying, find what fits your personality. Find the communities you do want to be a part of and be a part of them. And
not everyone's going to love you or rush to you. I mean, even in the WoW podcast community, there's some people that I don't jive with just because not like that they hate me. We don't sync. And it's like, I found the people that I'm with. I found my tribe.
So Marty says, do you have a thing you like to do that's not the usual normal thing to do? So something else than questing, dungeons, raids, PvP, etc.
Bloodthirsty challenge.
I get it. It's pretty cathartic.
It is, you just throw on some angry devil music and you just find a spot in a zone and start murdering everything.
I'm going to have to say, I know that it's the normal for people in the WoW challenges, but the Iron Tunes, I'm going to get into the Bloodthirsty at some point. There's a fun to being on a character that's limited, and it gives me those amazing freak out moments like, no, stop.
Oh God, it's a yellow crab, and it's angry, run!
What's going to happen? Oh!
I killed neutral crabs all the freaking time now since they were what killed my first Iron Man tune. I must have my revenge against all of them.
See?
I've got my husband doing it too. It's great.
I don't go anywhere near spiders.
Yeah, I found Iron Man not really... I've done it enough And I'm at the point where, you know what? I've kind of adopted my friend Nisi's philosophy, which is I'm not going to let the quest determine what kills me. I'm going to determine what kills me. So I switched over to the bloodthirsty challenge.
I could see being bloodthirsty. And Cap said peeps. I'm like, I'm sorry, Cap. You be you. You be you.
Does he mean like peeps is in like the little marshmallow?
I hope so. Not the peeps that you do when you're by yourself in your home alone. Hey, Xortz, what's the next question?
Anyway, next question. Next question. Tom asks, Ali, how sore is your head from all the face palming from Frazley's puns?
Well, Tom, here's the thing. In the beginning, very sore. But just like any muscle, when you build it and use it a lot, it becomes easier.
Look,
I'm really not so sore anymore these days because I've used it so many times.
I'm past the face palming stage with puns because they are the lowest form of denomination in comedy whatsoever. I'm straight to face desk. Skip the palm, face, meet desk.
I mean, I do have this nice, like, cushy little, like, I don't know what you call it, like, wrist supporter for my keyboard. It's very squishy, and I like to poke it when I'm podcasting. So if it, like, does that, it'd be pretty comfortable.
Just be careful that you take naps. But then actually, naps are not bad. So maybe I'm encouraging you to take naps.
That's all Frazley's doing, Xortz. He's trying to encourage you to take naps.
Yeah.
Yeah, sure.
So, Rig, who I met through the podcast community and has become an amazing friend with. And that's what I love. I find people who are like me and we have a lot of fun, and I end up killing his friend Coffee a lot in Among Us. But Rig said, what Warcraft cinematic has really got you pumped for the content to come next?
I haven't seen any of them. Ever since the Shadowlands announcement, I've just been like, okay.
Are there any in-game currently?
No, I haven't looked at any of it. Like, this is what I do in WoW. Bloodthirsty challenge.
Okay.
Stop message. I'm so detached from current content and the story and where it's going. I've just been let down so many times over the last few expansions. I just don't care anymore, to the point where I'm debating on whether or not to even get Shadowlands.
You haven't obviously looked in your email then, Xortz, because a little gnome weeks ago. I've been waiting weeks to get a what the fuck, Fraz? I've been waiting to get that from you. I'm like,
okay, you gotta understand, this is the old podcast email that I check only when I know I need to, so...
Xortz, go check your email.
I'm looking at it now. Fraz, what the hell did you do?
While he's looking, I will say that I really love a lot of cinematics, so I have a hard time picking just one. So I'm going to pick the most current one, and then I'm going to say the trailer for Shadowlands, because I'm very intrigued with where this story is going. There's a lot of things I want to know, and it's just between the Ice Crown themes mixed in and Bolvar, and plus, you know, whatever Sylvanas is up to. There's just so many great things for it, and I just am so excited for Shadowlands, and every time I watch it, I just get more pumped.
Fraz! Fraz! You son of a bitch.
He sent that to you and then messaged me and told me about it. I've also been waiting for your reaction.
Almost a month ago.
Yes.
But thank you, buddy. Wow. Well, my mind's made up. I guess I can let Nisi know the Iron Team's back on. Xortz is going to be playing Shadowlands.
It was that, and again, you've been a big part of, like, I know we don't always talk outside of the podcast, but you've been a great friend, and I've appreciated that. And you mean a lot to me, my friend.
Dude, why?
Because you're awesome.
He just told you why. Come on,
exactly.
You're awesome. Deal with it.
Yeah. The same way that the Sylvanas cinematic, Sylvanas is like, I'm not going to be the Lich Queen, and just like tore it away. That has me excited. Like, I want to know, what are we doing to get to that cinematic? And like, what's going to be the repercussions of that cinematic? That's what has me excited so much. Like, there's things that I'm seeing in the alpha that I will not talk about till it's live, because one, I don't want to speculate on it, but two, I want to be excited to see it happening. But yeah, I say that opening cinematic that we saw at BlizzCon has had me excited ever since. I was talking with the cinematic person at Blizzard. I was gushing because Christy Golden was next to them, so I was like in like overdrive. But yeah, they were excited about it, and I was excited about it.
Well, that probably made them more excited, because they like to see the people excited about what they're excited about.
Do.
Yeah.
Buddy, honestly, thank you very much. That was extremely generous of you. And
you're welcome. We get more Xortz, and we get more Shadowlands, and we get more Iron Teams.
Yeah. It's been a while since Team Puppet rides again. As written. Again.
And Xortz, you missed my F-bomb in this episode. You didn't even comment on it.
I didn't. I did not catch it, but that's okay, because I still have the MP3 of the original.
Yes.
I play it on stream from time to time.
Yeah.
So, this one also comes in from Rig and is, do you wash your shins in the shower?
I think so.
That's a random question.
I mean, you wash your entire leg in the shower.
I sometimes forget to wash my feet.
You should always wash your feet. Foot care is extremely important. You don't want to get the funky feet. Funky feet is bad.
Yeah, especially because I stand on them. Yeah, I should do that more.
I have lovely legs, so of course I wash my shins. You gotta take care of that.
Once again, Tom has asked, if you were forced to remove one class from WoW, what would it be? Shaman. Hate you.
Ooh, that was a really quick answer.
Totem. Shamans.
There's not really one I would remove, honestly. I would add a bard. There's a bard in the Rogue Order Hall. Why don't we get that, Blizzard? I want to be able to sing.
I don't know what I would remove because I like all the classes. And every time I think of one, I'm like, no, because of this, blah, blah, blah. The first one that comes to mind, and I'm going to piss off a lot of people, is potentially warlocks. Only because.
What?
Only because the warlock in my guild, his freaking imp always ends up pulling bosses.
Okay.
Before we're ready. And has caused multiple wipes.
Well, then he needs to set his imp to passive and not attack.
Right. He is finally learning it, I think. It's been a while, knock on whatever real wood might be around me. I've been playing with this guy since maybe 2008, I think. And
so because of one knucklehead, you want to remove the class that is Xortz?
I admittedly forgot that you were Warlock.
I did too.
I main a hunter and a warlock, so...
If it makes you feel any better, one of my first thoughts was actually priest, which is what I play, because they do a lot of shadow abilities, which is really cool, but like, warlocks do some shadow abilities, you know, and it's, you know, whatever, but then I'm like, but I really like priest healing, and I'm a really good holy priest, so I don't want to remove them, so, yeah.
Yeah. This question can be divisive and all that, and I mean, and the... As Lockmain says, don't let fear hear you. And I'm like, don't let Emma hear you. I think we're just going to lock this question away.
Like I said, I like all the classes. I don't want to actually take any of them out.
Maybe you could selectively remove what a player can do. I could see that.
Lie.
I'm sorry, Xortz.
Rig says, what's the weirdest thing you've seen in someone's home?
Yo.
Yes.
A friend of mine's mother had a wood carving statue, slightly less than life size, of President Taft.
Interesting.
Okay.
And it was in her backyard. Technically not in the house, but it was the weirdest thing. You know, the yard is part of the home.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Whenever someone asked her why she had it, she's like, I just love that man. And would not elaborate beyond that.
Okay.
To this day, I don't get it. Like, she had some weird President Taft fetish.
All right, whatever works, right?
Yeah.
I mean, I know it's a 2020. We're not supposed to kink shame. I still don't get it. And to this day, even if I see a picture in a history book or on the news or something, or an article about President Taft, I go think immediately of that statue and I am weirded out.
All right.
Yeah, I mean, because of all the presidents, yeah.
Of all the presidents. Or a president in general. But of all the presidents.
Yeah. At least, like, I could understand Lincoln or Washington. I could
Lincoln
really
or Washington or Kennedy or...
Yeah.
Eisenhower or Roosevelt, either one of them.
Yeah.
But Taft.
Oh, and Raz is saying, fish gotta swim, birds gotta fly. He's gonna love that man until she dies. And I'm loving that President Taft.
Oh my God.
Wow. Well done, Raz. That's good.
Raz, you pick your spots and you nail them. I'll give you that, my friend.
100%.
I've missed having Raz around.
Wow.
Raz is great, and In 2 weeks, Raz takes over the show, and I'm excited for that.
Yes.
Awesome.
The return of Razarus.
Yikes, I don't even know. I mean, I've seen some weird things recently with trying to actually buy a house. We've been doing a lot of, shopping online, and you get to see all these pictures, and some of them are very well staged and very nice, and some of them you see everyone's crap, and that's been a little interesting. I actually saw this question, and I've been looking at houses a lot lately, so I've been trying to find anything weird. I haven't seen anything too weird. However, one house that we were looking at today, now maybe it was for support, but the house isn't that old, and the basement was well put together, but there was a pole right in the middle of the basement. Maybe it was for support, but my first thought was, oh, they have a stripper pole. Okay.
I remember being in Florida, and you know how like such a name for anything Florida man? There was people wearing a t-shirt that they were dancers about poles. I was like, they even better. They taught.
Gotta support the working mom.
Yeah. Oh, I'm trying to think of like weird stuff. I'm struggling to think of like the weirdest thing because Taft and poles. Oh no, that's
together.
That's not a good definition even together. No.
Oh God, mental image. It burns. Why, Fraz? Why'd you have to use those two words in the same?
I know that was phrasing. Phrasing. Oh,
I'm gonna need to start drinking heavily again.
I told you to get a drink before this.
I need to run out to the store after the show.
Well, okay, Ali, can you move on to the next one? Because I think you two.
Sure. Taft and Poles wins. Okay. So Demeanor Noth says, what brings you joy? Could be to go with podcasting, streaming, Taft. Or just in general. Apparently not President Taft.
Oh.
And Raz says, speaking of polls and elections.
Yikes.
Well, I did picture he said elections. Yeah. I'd say.
I was about to say, I hope I heard that correctly.
Yeah.
Oh, God. Where are we going? We need to stop. Just stop this train for a minute.
We have a next question. We can
Everybody take a deep breath.
So I'll talk about what brings me joy.
Yeah.
So we can keep this train going.
Yeah.
Well, there's a lot of things that bring me joy because I'm easily amused. That's great. One that I've always enjoyed since I was a little kid, like for some reason, watching my teachers, like the teacher from my class and the teacher from the next room, off in a corner, like chit-chatting, like for some reason, I always liked that and I always wanted to be a part of that. And now that I'm content creating and stuff, and I actually get to collaborate with my fellow content creators and make these friends and stuff, like that collaboration and networking stuff actually, at least when it goes well and smoothly, it definitely brings me joy. And in terms of just in general, this is going to be the simplest, smallest thing. I could talk about my dogs and my husband, and I love them very, very much. But for as long as I can remember, one of the things that's just so easy that brings me joy is when the leaves are full and everything's green and stuff, and you look up and you see like the green leaves and the blue sky. For some reason, it's just the smallest thing, but it makes me so happy and it's peaceful. My favorite colors are blue and green because of that, probably. It makes me smile and I like it.
I love the chat community, and I like tonight. All the things that happen there. I mean, like when I get interaction with people either in chat or I can email from different things, it's those laughs, that spontaneity. Like you never know who's out there, and all of a sudden somebody says something, and it's wow, yeah, I love that. Or like, hey, it's good to see you. And in life, recently, one of the things that's really gotten me joy is when I'm sitting on the couch, and at that moment, Jocko decides to come up there and just lie down and rest. And like he's like curled up, his head's under his arm, and you're just like, oh, that's why you sometimes see pictures of him just like that, because I'm like, he's so cute. And like there are times that I can't wrestle the camera the right way to make a good picture of him, but he's just so happy, and like there's just that innocence. I love that.
Thing that brings me the most joy is after a long day of work or long day of doing whatever, finally getting a chance to like have something to eat, grab a shower, get changed into the comfy clothes, and that moment where you finally get to lay in bed and you're not quite asleep, you're not quite awake, but you're kind of in that like stream of consciousness.
Yeah.
Everything's right with the world.
Yeah.
That's the money right there.
I can see that.
And then living down the street from a hospital, an ambulance goes screaming by and you're wide awake again.
Yeah. And that's when, like Raz says,
that's when you get either the fresh pot of coffee or the cold beer. Or in Allie's case, try to make hand sanitizer and fail. See, that's what you failed at. You failed at making hand sanitizer.
Yes, that's how I failed. I tried to make hand sanitizer. Instead, it was rum. I don't know what happened.
Syl asks, best book you've ever read and would recommend to anyone.
I'm going to go with this book. I cannot remember the name, and I'm sorry, but it's a book I read in college that actually led me to start this podcast. It's about what is your motivated ability? Look at your life. What is the thread and everything that you find those memories? And it helped me realize that I love performing in front of others as long as they find some edification out of it. And that, like, if someone laughs, if someone just gets something from what I do, that brings me the most joy. It's why I enjoyed ballroom dancing for the longest time, because I loved, like, people seeing that dancing, and it fits now that I've transitioned that over to this.
Right on. I think the one that sticks with me the most is a book called Legend by David Gemmell. There's a war in a kingdom. The defenders are severely overrun. They have the mightiest fortress ever built, but it's severely undermanned. There's people inside the fortress working against them. And in a moment of desperation, they call for a legendary warrior who's now in his 60s to come help train these poor farmers that have been forced to man the wall. And his whole motivation for going there is not to win the battle. It's not to save the country. It's to die because he hates growing old. But there's actually a lot of inspirational stuff that happens in the story. It's a very simple tale. The guy had a very simplistic way of writing, but you find just moments an everyday person can relate to that sits there and goes, you know what? Life ain't so bad.
If I were to say Warcraft-related books, I would say either any of the Chronicles because they're amazing, or Arthas. It's a Warcraft podcast. I have to put that in there. Although, pretty sure Demi's already read Arthas and she knows that. There's a lot of books that come to mind. And admittedly, I've not read as many books as I would have liked to have read by this point in my life. But there was one book I read recently. It's kind of a self-help book, but also not. It's not your typical one. It's literally called Unfuck Yourself. It's very realistic. It's not everything's, rainbows and puppy dog tails and butterflies and great. No, like it's realistic. I don't know how to explain it. Like there was a lot of moments in there that I related to, and I actually made like a lot of notes on as I was reading it because it was just fantastic. And then unfortunately the phone I had all my notes on broke beyond repair and I can't get those back, but thankfully I have it on Amazon so I can read it again.
Yeah.
The whole premise is basically just trying to help guide you to get out of your own freaking head. And I'm very often lost in my own head.
Unfuck yourself. This sounds like my kind of book just by the title.
Yeah.
Is this the same phone that was at BlizzCon?
No. No, this was the phone I had before BlizzCon.
Okay.
That broke, and then darn, I just needed a nice new phone for BlizzCon.
Yeah.
Shucks. Which I almost lost, and then Frazley booked it across the way to help me find it. It's good times.
I may be tall, but I can really move fast like a gnome.
You really can. You're dodgy.
He's a dodgy tall guy.
This next question is from Felicity, who says, all-time favorite moment with your community while streaming. Mine has to be, it happened the past few months, getting a Nixia streak. And I'm not trying to rub it in to anybody who's still looking for that. But that moment of just like my excitement, but also my shock. And then that same night, people gifted subs and like got me to another sub goal. And I got a hype train, just like the support from everybody. And like everyone's like, like in shock too. That was cool. And I remember Techie Taco on this podcast a while back said, streaming's creating memories. I was like, that is a memory I won't ever forget, is that night. I could have done it by myself, and everyone, you would have seen the screenshot on Twitter when I got it. But seeing people react in real life, that felt really cool.
I've actually got two. One, I know Raz will appreciate. Xortz Airlines. Me and my friend Orca were playing Saints Row the Third. I was streaming it, and we decided we needed an airplane. So we booked out to the airport. We found a plane that we could actually get in. We get in, and I'm sitting there like, ladies and gentlemen, welcome to Xortz Airlines. Please make sure your trays and seats are in the upright position. Go to take off, proceed to crash into a building, the plane explodes, and die.
I love it.
We didn't even get off the ground.
It's hard to fly in Saints Row 3.
Yes.
It took me a couple
with keyboard
times.
And mouse, yes. Luckily, I've smartened up, and I've got my controller now.
Nice.
Second one was during an Iron Team session with Nisi. We were in the Ghostlands. And the Ghostlands is kind of a dodgy place for challenge tunes because you got those two big freaking abominations that crisscross over the Dead Scar. One goes north and south, one goes east to west. Well, somebody killed the one that goes east to west as we were heading to that ziggurat that he tends to go up to. So we're thinking, all right, he's dead. We can get in, out. We don't really have to worry about it. We saw the person that killed it, so we were like, okay, cool. We got a few minutes. We can get this part of the quest done, get out before he respawns. He respawns just as we're walking up to it, right on top of us. Now, these are Gold Dragon elite mobs. As an Iron Tune, taking those on is death.
Morbent fell, yes.
So we panic. We run into the ziggurat. He follows us. The fat fuck actually can get into the ziggurat. Now we have him and the mobs in the ziggurat on us. Nisi's healing like a motherfucker. Goes to him. I'm playing a paladin, so luckily I start healing her and myself while trying to fight this thing. She calls up her Shadow Fiend. She starts trying to get whatever mana she can regen to keep throwing heals. We're just sitting here panicking. You're just hearing fuck out of me. Nisi's just like, oh god. She clipped this whole fight into 2 clips. It's out there somewhere. And finally, we have to kill the ads before we can get him, obviously, because they're gonna whittle us down faster than he's gonna stop. And I'm like, fuck. Like, you want to hear a Xortz freak out. This was the mother of all of them up to that point, I think. And I'm just like, losing my mind. Like, my God, we're not even gonna make it to level 2. We're dead. We killed him.
Nice.
I've seen parts of this, but I never had the context. Oh, yes. That's even better.
And we just sat there for a minute. Like, you see him fall down, and I'm like, okay, are there any more ads? She's like, no. I'm like, did we just fucking do this? Did this really just fucking happen? We should not be alive. So we get what we needed from the quest, and we book the fuck out of there before he respawns again. And that is the last time we went to Ghostlands.
I bet.
I would say so. Yeah.
Oh.
Yeah.
I'm actually glad that I did not go do Ghostlands. I had a feeling that would be a bad idea because I was doing all the starting zones. This confirms it.
Oh man, you want to talk about two people who are already purposely putting themselves into a stressful leveling situation, having that stress multiplied by about 20,000 times.
Oh.
Like, literally, we got back to Tranquillion, the town there, with the Blood Elves and the Undead, and I'm just sitting here like, you know what? I don't care if we're in the middle of a freaking stream. I need to go chain smoke like 4 cigarettes. I'll be back.
Yeah. That's where you have the picture of the goblin just like, I'll be back. Okay.
See you later.
Yeah.
Oh, fucking hell, then. So yeah, one very hysterical, one extremely stressful, but a moment of triumph nonetheless.
Yeah.
That's an inspirational story, kids. Take that and run with it. Go forth and do great things.
Well, that's a great thing about streaming is you get to save those memories, and that's one of the reasons that I'm thinking about streaming more often. I've only streamed once.
Just make sure you clip them because as an affiliate or a non-partner, your streams are only up for 2 weeks.
Right, yeah. Like, and obviously I've only streamed once, so I don't have these epic, grandiose memories like you guys. But when I did stream that one time so far, it was pretty cool because the first person to say anything in my chat was Starman from World of Warcast. And granted, we're good friends these days and blah, blah, blah. But like Starman, like World of Warcast was the first podcast I ever found. And that was the first podcast I ever guested on. And that's how I got the podcasting itch. And so for him to be the first person to talk in my chat was pretty awesome.
Nice.
It's a good thing my camera wasn't on because I probably blushed. I was like, oh my God.
He's talking to me.
Wait, well, granted, we talk and drink together every week.
Well, yeah.
But the fact that he was the first one was pretty awesome. And I had a couple people follow the stream while I was streaming. And that was something I did not expect. I didn't expect people to turn on and start following me already. So that was pretty great.
One benefit you have is the podcast is going to bring people in, and that.
Yeah. And that's what some of it was for sure. But yeah, still like I didn't expect anyone to follow. And I had some people follow, which was pretty cool. So that was so far my favorite memory from the one time I've streamed.
By the time we get to 169, we hope that your affiliate Maybe I'm thinking a little too optimistically. Maybe, I don't know.
Oh, don't worry. I know people.
I'm sure you do.
We're going to make that happen. Look, I'll pull in people I've met from the PS4 community and be like, yo, go watch her, help her get affiliate now.
Yeah.
For now, while I'm working on trying to get out of this condo and into a much nicer place, I'm not obviously to worry about streaming. I'll stream like once or twice before the move, maybe, but I won't do it too often until actually we've moved and settled and everything, because I'm going to be pretty busy for the next few weeks. So
yeah,
understandable.
Yeah.
We'll be there to support you and watch you. And I'm excited for there'll be an episode of this show where I'll be talking about podcasting and streaming.
Maybe we'll see.
Dungeon Fables live.
Yeah. Okay.
When I have 2 monitors, maybe, because I'm going to need to have my show notes up because my memory is crap.
Here's the thing. You need to make a video split screen where you're going, I'm ready. And then on the other side, you looking all disheveled. I'm not ready.
Yes.
That could very much happen.
See?
Sooner rather than later. All right, so moving on, our next question is from Joda. Do you think the alt-friendly changes to Shadowlands will increase player retention or cause players to stop once they feel their main is quote-unquote finished?
I have no clue what you're talking about, Joda, but now that I apparently am going to be playing Shadowlands, I guess I'm going to find out.
I think it will, because one thing I've seen, like, people have been happier once we've finally gotten essences, once we got the rep boosts, the corruption changes. I think if people realize that Blizzard's going to be friendly to alts and like going to add things in, it should make people want to try different things. Because I've been enjoying trying different characters, knowing it's going to be better once we go forward.
From what I've seen so far, Blizzard is really working to look at our feedback and make a lot of changes based on that. The constructive feedback, people. Again, constructive feedback. Putting that out there. I think it's going to be similar to Legion, where people play their alts to see the different class halls. People are going to play their alts to see the different covenants, you know, to get the different items from the covenants and the transmogs and the mounts and whatnot, plus just to see the different stories. And because so far they're showing us that they are making such alt-friendly changes, I'm optimistic. Not even just cautiously optimistic. I am optimistic that this is going to be much more alt-friendly. It's going to engage people for longer.
Yeah. And if we get more player agency and we get more like choices, people are going to want to go do things. Like I loved going for that second faction so I could try to see the 2 sides of every tale. That was fun. It gave me something to aim for.
I just want to join Sylvanas.
You and Grand Nagus.
Look, I'm tired of the Horde and I'm tired of the Alliance.
Screw you all.
They can't make up their minds. Are they friends? Are they enemies? Are they cool? Are they not? Fuck that. Give me Sylvanas. Let's kill everything.
That's true. I don't want to kill everything, but I am tired of the, you know, we're together, now we're not. We're together, now we're not. Like that.
I swear to God, if in like 3 expansions from now they do the War Chief goes crazy bit one more time, I'm rioting. The Alliance needs to have a fuck up too.
Yeah, Anduin might be going down that path.
I think so. He was forced into it. I don't think he's a leader, in my opinion. I think if we get someone better that can come along and take it over, I think he'd also gladly give it to him. But it would be interesting to have a meal with him. Kind of like this next question.
Cap's been on point with the questions tonight. If you could share a meal with one historical figure, who would it be and why? Well, I can tell you who it won't be. President Taft.
You sure? You positive?
Have you seen that guy? He's a fat fuck. He'd eat everything.
He is. Although, would that be more fun? Because there'd be lots of different foods and stuff?
Oh.
Look, no, I want nothing to do with President Taft.
So I'm going to say, not just because we've been talking about presidents and stuff, but Teddy Roosevelt seems like quite the interesting character.
Yeah.
I think a meal would be intriguing with him.
I remember Robin Williams was talking about like he enjoyed that character in Night at the Museum and he enjoyed reading up on him. And if he looked like Robin Williams, it'd be even cooler.
Teddy Roosevelt's a good one.
I would want to have one with Walt Disney. I've been able to go to the different Disney parks over my life and just the feeling that you get when you're there. And Disney knew how to like create imagination and hearing like the things. I know he was not perfect and that we idolize him in certain regards, but think about the fact that what was one of our favorite services online, and I would have to say Disney Plus because I might not be watching it, but I've got so many memories there. It owns a lot of my childhood. Mandalorian, it's like Disney's always found a way when they do it good to do good things. Like I've watched Onward and I loved it. And I think to hear from Disney what he was going through.
Ooh.
Yeah, I'm intrigued.
Dick Winters, captain of Easy Company of the 101st Airborne during World War II, the company that the show Band of Brothers was based off of.
Nice.
Ooh.
Okay, I can see that.
And Cap says Winston Churchill for him loved his cameo in Aces High. Well, I want to thank you all for having it wasn't a meal, but I think both of you probably drank a lot. I drank a lot of my sparkling ice water.
Water and a cup of coffee. That's what I had during the show.
Water and rum.
Okay.
You failed hand sanitizer, you mean?
I mean, yes, it wasn't. It was water, big cup of water, granted, and failed hand sanitizer. It's good.
This was an episode I was worried about just because I wanted to make sure it would be fun, but I have had an absolute blast of a time. It's probably one of the longest we've had in a long time. And I want to thank both of you for joining me.
No problem.
Where can we find you on the interwebs? This time we'll start alphabetically in reverse with Xortz.
Oh, well, you can find me over on the Twitter at Xortz the Goblin, XORTZ, all lowercase, all one word, where there's stuff about nothing really posted. Shenanigans, amusing dog pictures. Can I pimp something that is not something I'm doing but is really, really important?
Absolutely.
All right. There is a friend I have who needs your help. His dog Falcor, his 6-year-old Cocker Spaniel, needs spinal surgery. Saturday at 11 a.m. over on his Twitch stream, which is twitch.tv/Dastardly_Corsair. He's doing a 24-hour stream to try and raise money to help the dog. So please, if you can, go over there and show some support. If you can afford to be charitable, I know we're living in weird times. Money's tight for some people. If you can afford to be charitable, every little bit helps. It doesn't have to be like a huge amount of money. It could be $1. It could be 50 cents, you know? But please, all 100% of this money is going directly to the dog's health care. And he's an adorable little pupper. So please help Falcor, guys.
Saturday at 8 a.m.? Is that what you said?
Saturday at 11 a.m. It starts at Saturday 11 a.m. and Sunday at 11 a.m. This came up a couple days ago, and I've been retweeting it for him. He's a poor little pupper.
Oh, I had a Cocker Spaniel years ago. I have a link in the show notes to a page where you can tip to Dastardly Corsair. I'll have a link in the show notes to his Twitch and throw him a follow and as well.
And you can find me over on Twitch at twitch.tv/Xortz the Goblin, XORTZ, all lowercase, all one word, where we play games.
And Ali, where can we find you on the interwebs?
You can find my show at dungeonfables.com or wherever you get your podcast. Or you can find me on Twitter at AliandresK. And you can find me every week on All Things Azeroth. And once a month or so on Always Be Looting, our little D&D campaign.
And where can they find you on Twitch?
Maybe when I stream at twitch.tv/Aliandros. I think I might be streaming Friday night, for those of you who are in chat, some alpha with Starman. Maybe.
Ooh.
Not 100% on that, but maybe. We'll see. I'll be drinking. It'll be interesting.
Oh, righteous! Guess what I just found?
What?
Ironforge is having a sale on President Taft statues. Do you want to go with me over there?
Oh my.
Xortz, you want to go with me?
Nope, I'm good. You do you, brother. You do you.
Activating customized Orphan transporter.
So I found out that those were fake President Taft statues. Apparently a goblin was selling them, claiming that they were authentic and legitimate. Well, I am back in home of Ironforge until we one day reclaim Gnomeregan!
Yeah, I'm a gnome.
Seeing as it'll soon be June, I can't believe it's about that time already. Well, it's time to see what's coming up in the world of Warcraft.
Let's see what the wondrous, mysterious Skillrock site foretells of the upcoming events in Azeroth.
Thank you for joining us on Kilrog Site, the upcoming events for June in World of Warcraft. Dark Moon Fair starts June 7th to the 13th. The expansion is at a place where everything is tapering off. Blizzard has been amazing by giving us a buff for XP and rep. The Dark Moon Fair can help us even more with a boost. There's a roller coaster and a carousel that also gives you an XP boost for an hour when ridden. If you do die, you do have to get rebuffed. As well, there's heirloom gear and upgrade tokens that can be bought using the Darkmoon gear and upgrade tokens that can be bought using the Darkmoon Fair tickets. This is a great time to level alts and ally races to get heritage armor sets. If you haven't already gotten it, or if you feel like you want to play something different next expansion, this is the best time to do it. June micro holidays coming up are Thousand Boat Bash, June 6th to the 8th. Head to Thousand Needle on Kalendor and join the gnomes and goblins. They will give you a quest to build your very own boat. Once you have done the task that they requested, you'll get a small boat which has a 7-day duration. This boat can be used in all zones, which allowed rapid moving along the water surface. I will warn you, one of the tasks does require fishing. This is a really good event for RPing and PvPing because you can shoot other people's boats. Have fun boating around. Main holidays for June are Midsummer's Fire Festival, June 21st to July 4th. Across all of Azeroth, including Outlands and Draenor, bonfire has been lit to honor the faction. Travel around each bonfire to honor the flames or desecrate this fire, to receive gold, XP, and Burning Blossom. Burning Blossom is a currency for this holiday, which you can buy items to go towards the holiday achievements and or holiday transmog pets, toys, and upgrade for heirlooms. Holiday boss is Atatoon, and he drops a satchel of chilled goods, which has a chance of dropping a pet, cloak, illusion, enchanted recipe, and or a two-handed staff. To defeat the boss, you'll need to wait until his shield is down. Ads will spawn and just DPS them down. Once the shield is down, hero if you have one, and burn all your heavy DPS on the boss. Have fun with these bonfires. The weekly bonus event for June is Battleground Bonus Event, June 2nd to the 8th. Gain 50% more honor in Battlegrounds. Quest is to win 4 Battlegrounds and reward Conquest and 5 marks of honor and Azerite. Battle for Azeroth Dungeon Event, June 9th to the 15th. Final boss fight in each current expansion dungeon will award an extra item. Pick up the quest that requires you to complete 4 Mythic or Mythic Plus for an extra chance on getting upgraded gear. Pet Battle Bonus Event, June 16th to the 22nd. Triple the XP for Pet Battles. Quest is winning 5 level 25 PvP Pet Battle for an Ultimate Pet Battle Training Stone. If you're in the North America servers and didn't get enough of Super Squirt Day last month, you have another chance on June 17th. We are very lucky to have this happen so soon. Time Walking Dungeon Event, June 23rd to 29th. Outlands has to be level 71 or higher. You can also queue for the Black Temple with a group of friends. Finish 5 dungeons rewards Azerite, Time Warp badges for currency in-game things. You can find the vendor in Outland chat. Arena Skirmish Bonus Event, June 30th to July 6th. 50% more honor. Win 10 arena matches, rewards Azerite and Conquest. Check out these amazing events for yourself. This is all for Killer Egg site, and have an amazing hot June.
Thank you, Emma. I know Kara will love that extra Pet Battle Squirt Day.
Let's look at what has been happening in the community.
Awesome! Let's do that. So along with the currently running MDI, the Arena World Championship has started and the full schedule is now up. Oh, and holy carp! This had put out a call for people to share these wholesome pictures of the community during the MDI streams last Saturday. Well, I shared a photo on Twitter, the photo I took with the people who got their friendship moose. Mooses? Meese? I don't know. This happened at the end of Legion. Well, Zeus was the person who I got mine through, and we had a reunion over in Moonglade. Well, I shared one of the reunion photos, and it got played during the stream! Thank you, Blizzard and Thist, for the honor of being part of that MDI stream. Do you want to stay up to date on the latest WoW esports on Twitter? Well, good news for you! There's now an official WoW esports Twitter account. And speaking of Mythic Dungeons, Raider.io is working with Wowhead, Warcraft Logs, Raidbots, and Blizzard to offer 90 days game time, premium access to community sites, and being featured on the front page of Raider.io if you do a World First Mythic Plus 30 in time. The rules for this contest are at the link in the show notes. I want to remind you that the runs for the Uncrypted Voidwing are happening right now. Follow at Friendship Mount on Twitter to find out when these runs happen. They're all raising money for various charities as well. Get your ALTC before the Uncrypted Voidwing takes flight with the Shadowlands pre-patch. And of note, these runs continue to raise so much money for Feeding America, St. Jude Children's Hospital, and more. And the Running of the Twirls returns for its 6th annual year to benefit the Trevor Project. The run will be on June 27th at 6 p.m. Pacific, 9 p.m. Eastern, and 1 a.m. GMT. Dravi will have info and a donations link coming very soon. And as always, I like to showcase art in the things that I've seen. And this week, there is no shortage of awesome things out there. I'm going to go kind of quick, but I've got links to all of these. Icy Veins reports on the Arathi Basin battleground being recreated in Minecraft by Reddit user MooshPMC. This brought up the art by Ima_Dreamwalker, and they've got new ones like Shadowfang Keep and Elwyn Forest. On Twitter, I saw JB Von Harmon's commission piece that they made for a WoW player. This is of a Tauren Druid. On Reddit, I saw Orgrimmar by Stanton Fang, as well as a Draenei Death Knight by Steven Sykes, a Lightforged Draenei by Astrid Lone, and Light of Night by Dmitry Prozorov. And to finish off the art, Wildhead has a roundup of many things like 2 paintings of the Blood Elf starting zone, an Orc Hunter and Scourge Stalker battle gear, a Blood Elf Monk commission, an adorable Black Drake picture, a Ferret Mount concept, a Draenei and Arathi Warfoot armor, a cute little bronze dragon, a Valkyria warrior, and a Sethrak that looks pretty sexy, as Wildhead was pointing out. And wouldn't it be great to have a map of Azeroth in walnut and resin? Well, Icy Veins reports that When Geeks Craft has made it. This map was a commission piece that was apparently made using a laser cutter and epoxy resin. This looks gorgeous, and they made a video of the creation of this map. And then Icy Veins reports that Ta & Co. made Deathwing out of wood. I've always been amazed at woodcraft, but just have never done it. Over on Facebook, Blizzard has shared Lebanese artist Pierre Aboud, who merges video games and traditional art to celebrate Ramadan in the Arabic culture by designing lanterns based on characters from the Blizzard Entertainment franchise. They have a short documentary that tells the story of these lanterns and Pierre's journey as he designed them. And to finish off the crafting section, I love it. There's art and there's crafting. This community is amazing. Wildhead has a roundup of a Vol'jin magnet, a wood sanded and stained lion symbol, the Horde sigil in wood, a wood nail and string Horde logo, a user who showed their Horde pride during woodworking class. Wow, people love the Horde. Huh. And a custom gaming desk. It's a standing desk too, with the map of Azeroth grazing in the middle of it. And speaking of expansion bosses, since we talked about Deathwing earlier, Seraphis has made an Animal Crossing Lich King shirt. I love all these shirts in Animal Crossing, and it's cool seeing different properties being brought into the game. And back at Icy Veins, they report that Reddit user RockNerd33 has turned the Haunted Mind music from Heroes into a drum cover. I'm listening to it while working on the show notes, and it is great. As we haven't been able to meet in gatherings recently in real life, Lokawa has brought to attention on Twitter that over on Grobulus, 30 graduates walk together in-game for achievements in-game and out-of-game. What a great way to celebrate and create community. Icy Veins reports on another amazing in-game achievement. This time, a Blackwing Lair speedrun on Classic by Guild Progress that took 20 minutes and 30 seconds. And then remember that South Park episode of Make Love, Not Warcraft? Well, Wowhead reports that Dr. 5 leveled to 60 in Classic by only killing boars. Wowhead reports that it took him 9 days and 18 hours of time in-game to do this. And then in the All Things Azeroth Discord, Brawl shared a Brutal calculator by dataforazeroth.com that shows me on Frazley, who I believe has 90,000 gold after buying heirloom upgrades for alts, that it'll take me getting 37,666 gold per day to get the Brutosaur by October 1st, 2020, if that estimated date for the pre-patch is correct. The site also lists suggestions on things to run. You can do it! I won't be doing it, but let me know. Time is ticking away, but if you do it, please let me know. I want to be able to celebrate you. Like my friend Silverbolt, Mark Honan, people I know that are getting the Brutosaur mount, and who I hope to run into in games to be like, hey, can I use the auction house? And then Icy Veins reports that Blood Mallet, the service that powers many of the simulators that you see on guides across the net, well, Blood Mallet wants to create personalized charts that will take into account your character's talents, items, and covenant abilities. If you find these simulations useful and you want to support them, please head to bloodmallet.com. And finally, to round it out, I want to bring to your attention WoW Grandma 78, who is 78 years old and has been playing WoW for over 15 years, and they are a streamer. Give them a follow on Twitch and Twitter. I've put them on the list to bring onto a future episode of FrazlCast. Thanks to Hottie Chicken for bringing WoW Grandma 78 to my attention. You are never too old to play games or stream.
This has been another awesome episode of FrazlCast. Take it away, Frazzlepants.
Thank you, Scruffy. Well, I was honored to be on the Lion's Pride Tavern episode 182. I had a great time talking with this crew. If you've never listened before, definitely go listen and tell them that Fraz sent you. A shout out to Rig, who said, listening to FrazlCast, absolutely loved Desmond Fisto's explanation about why he loves warriors. I loved that moment. A shout out to Demeternoth, who said that they really loved the episode with Desmond Fisto. A shout out to Kara, who said that episode was great. A shout out to Cap, who said that a Tripper Whopper and FrazlCast will on break from raid. Nom nom nom. This was during the live recording of the episode that you listened to today. A shout out to Desmond Fisto, who got covered by PC Gamer, and also to Rig, who promoted the last episode, where you can catch Desmond Fisto on it as well. Thank you to everybody who gives me encouragement by saying that you listened, that you loved it. That goes a long way to helping me on those days where, like, It feels like it's just editing and editing and editing. And in addition to thanking those who give me words of encouragement, I would like to thank those who have given back to the show financially. Thank you to Cap for the gifted sub. Thank you to Michael for the 2 gifted subs. And thank you to my Twitch subs out there. AA Ron of the Miscellaneous Podcast, Ali of Dungeon Fables and All Things Azeroth, Amanda of Geek Herring, Blissful Moonrise, Blood Dragon 767, BSB Crames, Burkhart, Cap, Gata Goodish, Chris of MMO Reporter, Chromatic Sim, Krunk, Dalek Kupo, Demeternoth, Demolizer, Draco Rosa 81, Epicinsanity of Frozen Nerds, Fiesta Taco 1983, Phileas Cheesecake, Jen of Molly Gray Podcast, Green Dragon, Harlow, Jendon, K-Cat, Carenza, KR Soli, Crush of Crush's Cavern, Lance Blizz Gamer, Lickle Boo, Lucas of Cardiac Valley, Matt Lawson, Michael of Two Nerds Maybe More and the Genome Project, Morelia, Myers Charming 1, Knight, Pete of Stories on Azeroth, Pippin YT, Queen Xortz of Kairos, Razarus, Rig of Charactercraft, Scissorlord, Seekchat, Sinister Gaming, Taluin, Tellenroyd, the Scruffy Druid of Loot Optional, the British Andy, Tom of 3 Extra Lives, Thorn, and Xortz the Goblin. And thank you to Cap, Marty of Two Nerds Maybe More, and Scissorlord for the bits this week. If you want to support the show financially, please go to support.gnomepodcast.com. And if you have Twitch Prime to Amazon Prime, you can use your free Twitch Prime subscription on my channel. It gets you ad-free viewing, emotes, and it goes a long way to helping support this labor of love. Thank you so much. Well, I'm Frazley, and you can find the show at gnomepodcast.com. There you can catch past episodes and find out many of the places where you can subscribe to this show to get the Gnome Train coming to you every single week. Well, until next time, be awesome.
FrazlCast is a fan podcast that covers Blizzard games. We are not affiliated with Blizzard Entertainment, Inc. Views expressed by the hosts and guests are their own. Some of the art, music, and sound effects come from Blizzard Games, and they are owned by Blizzard Entertainment, Inc. No copyright infringement is intended. This show is for the community, and it contains contributions from the community. The Gnome Train Intro is by Ali of Dungeon Fables and All Things Azeroth. The opening music is by Brandon T. Blaylock. The Gnome Roar is by Jen of Morley Gray Podcast. And the Frazzlepants bumper at the end is by the Scruffy Druid of Loot Optional and Viral Voice Arts.
This show is brought to you by Dragon Powered Studio.
Podcasts to make your week better. Remember to smile and be awesome.
Find more at dragonpoweredstudio.com.
It's been fun. Farewell.